mental health issues, mental health, mental health, mental health, mental health, mental health, and
transition in, and thank you so much for coming. Innovation, doing something different, change, and adapting to change. That's what's been so great about working on this project.
So the song I just played for you is a song called South Cassidy Sager. And that song is kind of an odd pick for this crowd, I think, in my opinion. At first I was going to do the most popular one that is relatively simple and it's kind of just a sing-along song kind of thing, but I decided to just do something odd and just do whatever I wanted. The reason I did this was because that's kind of the whole point of music to me. You can say anything you want with it. You don't have to worry about someone judging what your message is in a song. You don't have to worry about hiding something because, worst comes to worst, you can just put it into a metaphor or something that they might not even understand. And it means something very specific to you, but no one else really knows what it is. And it means something else to somebody else that's important to them. And that's kind of the whole point of it to me, is I can say whatever I want, and I can do it with something, make something beautiful.
In 2021, we had a student at our school take his own life. And although it saddened me, I didn't think it directly affected me. Until 4 days later after it happened, I found out that he was in my biology class. And noticed because of a social media post, I saw him on a social media post and I realized that he had been in my class all this time. And I hadn't put two and two together that he was the one that took his own life. And that was a hard thing to process. A couple things went through my head. First of all, guilt. I felt guilty that I didn't know that he was struggling, that I didn't know that he was the one that took his own life. Also, a little bit angry, not really angry at anybody, just kind of angry that I didn't know and angry that life went on like we hadn't lost a beautiful soul. But at the end of the day, you can't blame anybody for it. And so I was just kind of focused on, I want to make a change, and I don't want anybody else to have to go through that.
Did you know that 1 in 5 U.S. adults experience mental illness? 3 million youths ages 12 through 17 had serious thoughts of suicide in 2020. 706,000 adults in South Carolina have a mental health condition, and 53,000 South Carolinians ages 12 through 17 have depression. More than half of these people with mental illness did not receive any medical treatment in the last year due to the shortage of mental health care providers. So why does this matter? Health and wellness is a strong predictor of doing well throughout life. Good mental health is of vital importance in helping us achieve happiness to improve our lives. An inadequate mental health system affects individuals, families, and communities. If we want to build a better life for all of us, we must each be responsible for ourselves and get educated on the steps we can take to improve our mental health. We heard a mother tell her story about how her teenage son was bullied and had developed anxiety from that. With good medical help from their family doc, he was able to focus on his strengths. He saw a good therapist, he enrolled in martial arts, and he became a black belt and is now on his way to college with an inbuilt sense of purpose and self-confidence. People need to know that they are not alone. They do not have to keep this feeling inside of them.
My name is Isabella Meiston, and I am a senior at Greenville Technical Charter High School. Many years I didn't want to ask for help due to this stigma surrounding mental health. I was ashamed that I could not control this on my own. Like so many of my peers, I have personally struggled with anxiety since I was a child. I often found myself struggling with perfectionism or struggling to balance the demands of school, soccer, and other extracurricular clubs. I, however, was lucky because my parents recognized the signs and symptoms, and they empowered me to get help. Thanks to this help, I learned ways to cope with my anxiety in a safe and supportive environment. For example, I meditate every night.
I did not realize that something so simple will help me to handle something that had such a powerful hold over me. And I have also turned my negative circumstances into something positive. My struggles have showed me that I want to help people, so I plan to study international relations and become a diplomat. Overall, I want to improve the world around me and live a fulfilling life.
Imagine a school community being so disconnected that your child, your grandchild, your brother, your sister walks through the halls unknown by most kids. After a suicide of a student in 2019, my older sister Cosby recognized this issue. After realizing that she sat in class next to this student all year but didn't know anything about him, she realized that community building is a necessary thing in Greenville County high schools, and frankly, all schools. Let's make all Greenville County high schools closer than ever, and let's make mental health a destigmatized topic. And it can all start with one simple day where you just get to know your classmates. Eagles matter, Rams matter, Generals matter, Trojan matters, Mavs matter. All the high schools and every single student matters. And we need that message to be communicated for all the students to come.
This year has been difficult. I've always been told that junior year would be hard, but I didn't know just how bad of a toll it would take on my mental health. I've struggled really badly with motivation and burnout recently, and that has just made me feel empty inside. This feeling is something many teenagers go through, and it isn't always addressed. Teenagers are always being told this is part of their teenage years, but it's important to know that this happens to everyone, and they shouldn't be put down just because everyone goes through this. Everyone should be taken seriously every single time, and you should never assume what someone is going through based on how they appear outwardly.
So as early as middle school, I noticed that my friends weren't getting the help that they needed from the adults in their life. And one day somebody told me that their favorite part about me was my positivity, and that kind of changed my life. So since then, I was seen as what some people might call a therapist friend, and I kind of put everybody's problems as my own, and I took it under myself to help everybody, which got very exhausting very quickly. And so at one point I decided that putting all of that on myself was way too much, but I still yearn to help people every single day. And I'm telling you this story not to encourage you to give up on mental health, but to encourage you to keep yourself in mind. And that's why I help start Minds Matter, and why this club is so important. Mental health is a group effort, and it can be hard, but with all hands on deck, it's so worth it with the outcomes that we get out of it. And so things are obviously different from when I was 12, and the word tired holds me way more weight, and sometimes I wish I could live a life away from myself. But I forget that we're not supposed to know what comes next, and I'm doing all this to teach people my age about the balance of taking care of yourself through helping others, because you cannot help a plant grow if you have no water to give.
So I guess every story honestly has to have a beginning. I suppose mine starts in middle school. In middle school, I was bullied, and it became very clear that I was an outcast. Because of that, I was given anxiety, and I felt like I was different. With that anxiety, you had that little mind telling you were not perfect. You were not good enough to make friends. You were not good enough for speaking out. And in that, I got depression. And so because of developing these symptoms, I was very fortunate to be a Girl Scout. I was a cadet at the time. And because of Girl Scouts, we were able to speak up about what we are passionate about. And I didn't want others to feel the way I did. I didn't want others to be feeling anxiety, and I didn't want others to be bullied for this. So to do this, I decided then and there that I was going to be an advocate for kids and teens, which prompted me to be a co-founder of Teens for